Hello everyone, welcome to Weathersfield Proctor Library Storytime. I'm Glenna Coleman, Youth Services Librarian, and this is our Library Bear. This week we are reading stories about how to do various things. Our first story is called How to Catch an Elephant, and this is by Amy Schwartz. How to Catch an Elephant. Amy Schwartz wrote this story in memory of her father, Henry Schwartz, who told her this story. Three cakes, 2 raisins, 1 telescope, and a pair of tweezers. That's what you need to catch an elephant. First, pack up your equipment. This is just like a how-to lesson, isn't it? I love it. Then, ask your Uncle Jack to bring you to the place where elephants go. On the way, he'll tell you three things. Remember, elephants are crazy about raisins, he'll say, and elephants hate cake. And in a pinch, don't forget your telescope. Well, this is quite intriguing. Say thank you to your uncle and wave goodbye. Now you are alone. Carefully find a raisin in your pocket. Place it on the first cake. Now climb a tree and wait for an elephant. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Sniff, sniff, sniff. It's the elephant. Stomp, 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 stomp. He smelled the raisin. Elephants are crazy about raisins. He pops the raisin into his mouth. What? No more raisins? Only cake? Elephants hate cake. The elephant's great big ears flap back and forth. His long trunk switches from side to side. Stomp, 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 stomp. That cake is flatter than a pancake in Topeka. Make sure the elephant is gone. Then quickly unpack the second cake. Fish the second raisin out of your pocket and put it on top. Then scramble back up your tree and wait. He smelled the raisin. Elephants are crazy about raisins. He's eating it. What? No more raisins? Only cake? Elephants hate cake. The elephant's great big ears flap back and forth. His long trunk switches from side to side. He lifts his right feet and his left and his right. His whole body is twitching and swaying, and he roars. Be careful up in that tree. Pray that you don't have any cake crumbs on your fingers. You are alone in the jungle with a very angry elephant. Stomp, 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 stomp. Stomp, 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 stomp. That cake is flatter than a tortilla in Oaxaca. Open your eyes. He's gone. Fast, jump down. Take the last cake out of its box. Shimmy back up to your branch. Stomp, 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 stomp. Where's the raisin? Hold your breath. Hold on tight. There are no raisins. There is only cake. That elephant was mad enough the first time. He was mad enough the second time. But now the elephant roars. He jumps on that cake. He jumps on it and stomps on it and stamps on it. He rolls on it and howls and trumpets and roars. Excuse me. You are in a pinch. Uncle Jack, help! But wait, remember your telescope. No, the other end. That's right, the wrong end. Now the elephant is the size of his toenail. He is teeny. Grab your tweezers, climb down the tree, pick up that elephant, and button him in your pocket. And that is how to catch an elephant. Well, How to Catch an Elephant by Amy Schwartz. That was an amazing story. I should try to find an elephant and go right out and catch him. What do you think, Bear? Do you think that's going to work? You don't look so sure. Well, maybe I'll give it a try some other time. Well, our next book about how to do something is called Dragons Love Tacos, and this is by Adam Rubin, and it's illustrated by Daniel Salmieri. Dragons love tacos. Now, this book is about how dragons love tacos, but it's also about how to give a taco party for dragons. All right, this is quite a big book, so we're going to have to pull it back a little bit. Hey, kid, did you know that dragons love tacos? They love beef tacos and chicken tacos. They love really big, gigantic tacos and tiny little baby tacos as well. Why do dragons love tacos? Maybe it's the smell from the sizzling pan. Maybe it's the crunch of the crispy tortilla. Maybe it's a secret. Either way, if you want to make friends with dragons, tacos are key. Hey, dragon, why do you guys love tacos so much? But wait, as much as dragons love tacos, they hate spicy salsa even more. They hate spicy green salsa and spicy red salsa. They hate spicy chunky salsa and spicy smooth salsa. If the salsa is spicy at all, dragons can't stand it. Why do dragons hate spicy salsa? Well, just one drop of hot sauce makes dragons' ears smoke. Just one single speck of hot pepper makes a dragon snort sparks. Spicy salsa gives dragons the tummy troubles, and when dragons get the tummy troubles, oh boy. If you want to make tacos for dragons, keep the toppings mild. Tomatoes, lettuce, cheese. These are all good toppings for tacos for dragons. Hey, dragon, how do you feel about spicy taco toppings? Oh, he doesn't look like he feels very good about it, does he? Dragons love parties. They like costume parties and pool parties. They like big, gigantic parties with accordions and tiny little parties with charades. Why do dragons love parties? Maybe it's the conversation. Maybe it's the dancing. Maybe it's the comforting sound of a good friend's laughter. The only thing dragons love more than parties or tacos is taco parties. Taco parties are parties with lots of tacos. If you want to have some dragons over for a taco party, you'll need buckets of tacos. Now we're getting to the how-to. Pant loads of tacos. The best way to judge is to get a boat and fill the boat with tacos. That's about how many tacos dragons need for a taco party. After all, dragons love tacos. Hey dragon, are you excited for the big taco party? Just remember, dragons hate spicy salsa. Before you host your taco party with dragons, get rid of all the spicy salsa. In fact, bury the spicy salsa in the backyard so the dragons can't find it. There he is down there with his shovel. These dragons love your taco party. They love the music, they love the decorations, they especially love the tacos. Congratulations! It's a good thing you got rid of that spicy... Wait a second! What are those little green things in the salsa? You didn't read the fine print? Totally mild salsa. Now with spicy jalapeno peppers. Oh no. Dragons, listen to me. Do not eat those tacos. Those little green specks in the salsa, those are jalapeno peppers. They are super spicy. I know you love tacos, dragons, but you are not gonna love those tacos. Do not eat those tacos. Do not let those dragons eat those tacos. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh my goodness. That is a lot of fire coming out of their mouths. My goodness. And the house is completely burned down. What a disaster. Why would dragons help you rebuild your house? Maybe they're good Samaritans. Maybe they feel bad for wrecking it. Maybe they're just in it for the taco breaks. After all, dragons love tacos. Well, this book, Dragons Love Tacos by Adam Rubin, illustrated by Daniel Salmieri, was about how to host a dragon taco party. Now, if you host a dragon taco party, you better remember about that spicy salsa because you do not want your house to be gone after the party, do you? Well, our last story about how to do something is called Sylvester and the Magic Pebble, and this story is by William Steig. Now, how should you make a wish? That's the question of this story. Sylvester and the Magic Pebble by William Steig. All right, here we go. On a rainy Sunday during vacation, oh, sorry, we skipped a page. That's not a good start. Sylvester Duncan lived with his mother and father at Acorn Road in Oatsdale. One of his hobbies was collecting pebbles of unusual shape and color. There we go. There's our little intro. One rainy Saturday during vacation, he found a quite extraordinary one. It was flaming red, shiny, and perfectly round like a marble. As he was studying this remarkable pebble, he began to shiver, probably from excitement, and the rain felt cold on his back. "I wish it would stop raining," he said. To his great surprise, the rain stopped. It didn't stop gradually, as rains usually do. It ceased. The drops vanished on the way down. The clouds disappeared. Everything was dry, and the sun was shining as if it had never as if rain had never existed. There we go. That makes more sense. In all his young life, Sylvester had never had a wish gratified so quickly. It struck him that magic must be at work, and he guessed that the magic must be in the remarkable-looking red pebble, where indeed it was. To make a test, he put the pebble on the ground and said, "I wish it would rain again." Nothing happened. But when he said the same thing holding the pebble in his hoof, the sky turned black, there was a lightning and a clap of thunder, and the rain came shooting down. "What a lucky day this is," thought Sylvester. "From now on, I can have anything I want. My father and my mother can have anything they want. My relatives, my friends, and anybody at all can have everything they want." He wished the sunshine back in the sky, and he wished a wart on his left hind fetlock would disappear, and it did. And he started home, eager to amaze his father and mother with his magic pebble. He could hardly wait to see their faces. Maybe they wouldn't even believe him at first. As he was crossing Strawberry Hill, thinking of some of the many, many things he could wish for, he was startled to see a mean, hungry lion looking right at him from behind some tall grass. He was frightened. If he hadn't been so frightened, he could have made the lion disappear, or he could have wished himself safe at home with his father and mother. He could have wished the lion would turn into a butterfly or a daisy or a gnat. He could have wished many things, but he panicked and couldn't think carefully. "I wish I were a rock," he said, and he became a rock. The lion came bounding over, sniffed at the rock 100 times, walked around and around it, and went away, confused, perplexed, puzzled, and bewildered. "I saw that little donkey as clear as day. Maybe I'm going crazy," he muttered. And there was Sylvester, a rock on Strawberry Hill, with the magic pebble lying right beside him on the ground, and he was unable to pick it up. "Oh, how I wish I were myself again," he thought, but nothing happened. He had to be touching the pebble to make the magic work, but there was nothing he could do about it. His thoughts began to race like mad. He was scared and worried. Being helpless, he felt hopeless. He imagined all the possibilities, and eventually he realized that his only chance of becoming himself again was for someone to find the red pebble and to wish that the rock next to it would be a donkey. Someone would surely find the red pebble. It was so bright and shiny, but what on earth would make them wish that a rock were a donkey? The chance was 1 in a billion at best. Sylvester fell asleep. What else could he do? Night came with many stars. Meanwhile, back at home, Mr. and Mrs. Duncan paced the floor, frantic with worry. Sylvester had never come home later than dinner time. Where could he be? They stayed up all night wondering what had happened, expecting that Sylvester would surely turn up by morning. But he didn't, of course. Mrs. Duncan cried a lot, and Mr. Duncan did his best to soothe her. Both longed to have their dear son with them. "I will never scold Sylvester again as long as I live," said Mrs. Duncan, "no matter what he does." At dawn, they went about inquiring of all the neighbors. They talked to all the children, the puppies, the kittens, the colts, the piglets. No one had seen Sylvester since the day before yesterday. They went to the police. The police could not find their child. All the dogs in Oatsdale went searching for him. They sniffed behind every rock and tree and blade of grass, into every nook and gully of the neighborhood and beyond, but found not a scent of him. They sniffed the rock on Strawberry Hill, but it smelled like a rock. It didn't smell like Sylvester. After a month of searching the same places over and over again, and inquiring of the same animals over and over again, Mr. and Mrs. Duncan no longer knew what to do. They concluded that something dreadful must have happened, and that they would probably never see their son again, though all the time he was less than a mile away. They tried their best to be happy, to go on about their usual ways, but their usual ways included Sylvester, and they were always reminded of him. They were miserable. Life had no meaning for them anymore. Night followed day, and day followed night, over and over again. Sylvester on the hill woke up less and less often. When he was awake, he was only hopeless and unhappy. He felt he would be a rock forever, and he tried to get used to it. He went into an endless sleep. The days grew colder. Fall came with the leaves changing color. Then the leaves fell and the grass bent to the ground. Then it was winter. The winds blew this way and that. It snowed. Mostly the animals stayed indoors, living on the food they had stored up. One day a wolf sat on the rock that was Sylvester and howled because he was hungry. I suppose he wouldn't have been hungry if Sylvester had been a donkey. Then the snow melted. The earth warmed up in the spring and things budded. Leaves were on the trees again. Flowers showed their young faces. One day in May, Mr. Duncan insisted that his wife go with him on a picnic. "Let's cheer up," he said. "Let us try to live again and be happy, even though Sylvester, our angel, is no longer with us." They went to Strawberry Hill. Mrs. Duncan sat down on the rock. The warmth of his own mother sitting on him woke Sylvester up from his deep winter sleep. How he wanted to shout, "Mother, Father, it's me, Sylvester, I'm right here." But he couldn't talk. He had no voice. He was stone dumb. Dumb, of course, Doesn't mean stupid. It means that he couldn't talk. He was mute. Mr. Duncan walked aimlessly about while Mrs. Duncan set out the picnic food on the rock. Alfalfa sandwiches, pickled oats, sassafras salad, Timothy compote. Suddenly, Mr. Duncan saw the red pebble. "What a fantastic pebble!" he exclaimed. Sylvester would have loved it for his collection. He put the pebble on the rock. They sat down to eat. Sylvester was now as wide awake as a donkey that was a rock could possibly be. Mrs. Duncan felt some mysterious excitement. "You know, Father," she said suddenly, "I have the strangest feeling that our dear Sylvester is still alive and not far away." I am, Sylvester wanted to shout, but he couldn't. If only he had realized that the pebble resting on his back was the magic pebble. "Oh, how I wish I were here. Oh, how I wish he were here with us on this lovely May day," said Mrs. Duncan. Mr. Duncan looked sadly at the ground. "Don't you wish it too, Father?" she said. He looked at her as if to say, "How can you ask such a question?" Mr. and Mrs. Duncan looked at each other with great sorrow. "I wish I were myself again. I wish I were my real self again," thought Sylvester. And in less than an instant, he was. You can imagine the scene that followed. The embraces, the kisses, the questions, the answers, the loving looks, and the fond exclamations. When they had eventually calmed down a bit and had gotten home, Mr. Duncan put the magic pebble in an iron safe. Someday they might want to use it, but really for now, what more could they wish for? They all had all that they wanted. So, this story was Sylvester and the Magic Pebble by William Steig. All about how to make a wish if you really want to. Well, this is the end of story time. I'm Glenna Coleman, Youth Services Librarian at the Weathersfield Proctor Library. Bear is saying goodbye. He's so glad that people can visit the library now. But we're still doing story time online for the time being. So be sure to tune in. Bye till next time.